Now, when you hear the word tax, do you panic? Do you get worried? If you do, then don't worry, because in this video, I've got you covered from A to Z. I'm going to be breaking down absolutely everything, the types of company structures you should be using, what taxes are due and owed throughout your journey. I'm even going to be giving you my own cheat sheets that are going to help you track your expenses and costs of goods. And I'm even going to be showing what apps I use when I do my taxes, so it makes it super easy. So my goal in this video is to make sure that at the end, you know exactly what you need to do with your dropshipping store or your e-commerce store when it comes to taxes. So guys, the first thing that I want to do is break down the different structures that you can run a dropshipping store or an e-commerce store in, whether it be a LLC, an LTD, a sole trader. So these are the different business types you can create to run those stores with. Now, I do also want to say that I'm going to be addressing USA and the UK in this video. Now, the reason why is because most people are either from the US or UK, or people usually outside of those countries either set up in one of those countries anyway. So that's why it makes the most sense. Now, don't worry if you're outside of the UK or the US, this video is still going to apply to you because you're going to take one of the actions that I'd recommend. Okay, let's talk about the most common structure that most beginners use, which is either being a sole trader or a solo practitioner. So this is the USA way of saying it. This is the UK way of saying it. So this is basically you running everything as you, the person, as the individual, and not as the company. Now, the pros to this is it's super simple to start, full control, and low startup cost. Now, the cons are basically you've got unlimited personal liability, meaning that you're liable for absolutely everything. Harder to raise capital and less credible. Now, this is best for beginners or solo dropshippers looking to test the water. So basically, if you're just somebody looking to test the water, you're not going to take it too seriously, you're looking to see if a few products work for you or don't, then this is probably the best option for you. Now, let's talk about limited companies and LLCs. The most legitimate way to run a dropshipping brand. Your business is separate as a legal entity, meaning that your company is a legal entity from you. Now, the pros are is limited liability, more credibility, easy to scale and sell, and access to funding. So you get way more benefits of having a company than you do as a sole trader. Now, the cons are there is a setup admin fee, there are annual filings, and there needs to be more structure. Now, I want to make this very clear. Creating a company doesn't mean that you have to be somebody making money. It can even be for people that are just looking to take the industry serious as a dropshipper. Now, don't worry guys, stay patient. I am going to be teaching you guys how you can set up an LTD or an LLC and which one you should choose a little bit later on. Now, the last one is a partnership LLP. So if you're looking to get into business with your friend or a family member and you want to do it as a partnership, that is also an option. I've left it at the bottom. I'm not going to explain it because it's very rare people do this. Now let's go over all the taxes that are involved in this industry, what they are and how they work. Now, the first tax name we've got is VAT, which is called value added tax. What is it? It's a 20% tax on most products sold in the UK paid by the customer, but you collect it. Now, US dropshippers don't need to worry about this. You only need to worry about it if you're selling to the UK or to the EU. Now, if you are a UK dropshipper, you do need to worry about this if you're making more than 85 to 90,000 pounds a year. Then we've got something called GST, goods and service taxes, similar to VAT, but it's used in places like Australia or New Zealand. And again, as a US dropshipper, only if you're selling in the countries that have GST. And again, as a UK dropshipper, only if you're selling in those GST countries. Now let's talk about income tax, tax on profit you make from your business. Yes, as a US dropshipper, you're going to be paying federal and maybe state too. As a UK, yes, either as a sole trader or as a company, you will be paying some income tax if you take profit from the company. Now, income tax and corporation tax are not the same thing, guys. Income tax is what you pay as an individual if you were to take profit from the company. Now, self-employed tax or national insurance is extra tax you pay if you're self-employed, covers retirement, healthcare and stuff. Now, if you're in the US, you're going to be paying around about 15.3 of self-profit. And in the UK, yes, you are liable for national insurance. Now, corporation tax is next, and it's probably the most important one. Tax your company pays if it's a limited company or an LLC. In the US, you would be paying this if you're a corp or an S corp. And in the UK, yes, you're going to be paying this, and it's going to be at 24%, I believe now, or it's 23%. It's not long changed, but it's around about the 20-something mark. Now, import tax, fees charged when goods come into a country from overseas. Sometimes in the US, orders over $800 recently changed. So import taxes have recently changed. Basically, you import products from where you're dropshipping them from into the countries you're selling them in. Now in the UK, it is often if goods are over £135. Now let's talk about sales tax, a small extra charge added to the customer's price paid to the US states. Now this only applies to those guys that are in the US, and it will depend on the certain state that you're set up in as a company or you're selling in. And for the UK, this doesn't apply. Now this was just a quick run through and breakdown of the different taxes that you're going to be involved in as a dropshipper or as an e-commerce business owner that you do need to pay attention to, and it will also depend on which countries you're selling and what company you've set up. Now both of the slides that I've just shown you today, guys, will be available once we hit 1,000 likes in this video, so you can have a look at them offline. Not just these slides, I'm also going to be giving you my profit and tracking cheat sheet and everything else that I'll show you in the video. So guys, now I've explained the different company structures and how you can run your dropshipping store either as a business or as a sole trader. This is where you need to make a decision before the next part of the video is going to make any sense. Are you going to set up as a company, or are you going to carry on as a sole trader? Now, if you are going to carry on as a sole trader, yes, it is easier to actually manage in terms of taxes, but usually the taxes are higher as a sole trader, and you are going to be restricted to what you're able to get access to when it comes to payment gateways, bank accounts, and the sales volume that you can do with it. Now, for the guys that are looking to set up a company, this is where you're going to either choose a UK LTD or a US LLC. Now, if you're looking to not sell in the US, then a UK LTD might be better for you because you're going to be selling just in Europe, and then the UK LTD is cheaper to set up and usually will get lower taxes by selling in the European Union. Now, if you are looking to sell within the US because it is the biggest market, then I would definitely say a US LLC would make the most sense. So here's my recommendation on which service you should use if you're looking to set up an LLC, even if you're in the US or you're outside of the US. So it applies to both of you guys. So the company that I'd recommend is called Doula. It's the one that I've used myself, so I can trust it. And a lot of my friends and people within the industry have also used Doula. So as you guys can see on the website, it says start your US business from anywhere in the world. You can see on their website the companies they're backed by and partnered with, all the different things that they can offer you guys, like dedicated bookkeeping, sales tax, reseller certificate, business taxes, agent services. Then they give you a quick path forming your business. They go over what is the different step on step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and step 5. Again, they're also going to get you guys a US bank account, so they're going to sort all of that out for you. You don't need to worry. Also, they're going to explain to you what is the best structure for you. Is it an LLC, C Corp, or an S Corp? They're going to go over all of those for you. Doula honestly makes setting up an LLC so easy, and they do it in the best tax efficient way by either choosing Delaware or Wyoming. Now, if you want to book a free consultation call, you can just click this button. You can book a free consultation call to get some personal advice on whether you should set up an LLC depending on where you're planning on selling your products, or is it the right time, and if you've got any questions. That's the one thing that I do love about Doula, is they will happily get on a free call with you to make sure that it is the right decision. And if you've got any questions about anything that I've mentioned in this video about taxes, how it works, they're there to help you guys out. Now, let's say hopefully you do create a company with Doula. This is what your interface will look like. They've actually got their own dashboard and interface where you can manage your whole company. You can see dashboard, company, bookkeeping, taxes, services, and community. So you're gonna have an all-in-one place where you can manage your company's taxes and everything. Now, I also can't emphasize enough how important it is to work with companies that have experience in the industry. You don't want to be working with accountants or companies that don't understand e-commerce, because they're going to give you the worst advice. The worst decision that I made when I started was I tried cheaping out and going for a non-e-commerce tax assistant, and they didn't know what they were doing, and they ended up costing me more in taxes than it would have cost me if I just paid the extra money working with a good accountant. Now, for the guys that are looking to do a UK LTD, then my recommendation is a company called Osome. You can see here, register a limited company in the UK. So this is a similar solution to Doula, but for UK LTDs. And you can see here, you can check to see if your LTD name is available, and you can see a simple and fast solution here. So you've got the all-in-one for foreigners. So if you are a foreigner and you're outside of the UK, this is the solution that you're going to need. Now, if you are in the UK and you're just looking to get a UK done, then it is a lot cheaper. Now, if you are interested in using Osome, just choose one of the plans that's best suited for you, and then it'll take you through a questionnaire to make sure you are in the right place. And if you are, then you can carry on. Now, if you do see one of the packages on Osome that you think is right for you, you click get this plan, and then it'll take you through a questionnaire just to ensure that it is the right plan for you and to see if you need any further assistance. Make sure you check out the link in the description. You can even book a free consultation call if you need to ask them a few more questions before making the decision. So now I've given you guys the solution on how to set up an LLC, whether you're outside of the US or in the US, and for the UK. Now let me go over the expense sheet. Now this expense sheet even might be helpful for those that are looking to do their bookkeeping themselves or manage their whole accounting themselves. So this is a basic expense sheet that I used as a beginner. I will leave all of these cheat sheets and PowerPoint presentations in the description and in the pinned comment once we hit 1,000 likes. Now it's a very simple expense sheet. You've got product cost plus shipping, you've got total ad spend, you've got fees, which is either your payment processing fees and a few other fees. So we've rounded that up to around about 7%. Then you've got revenue generated, cost, and then you've got profits and profit margin. Now, if we look at the columns, these are a daily setup. So the 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd. So what you need to be doing is you need to be inputting the information into each one of these columns every single day. Now, the reason why it's so important to track your expenses and your costs is because remember, if you want to be tax efficient, you need to be making sure you keep track, because if you under calculate your expenses, then you're going to be paying more profit than you should. Remember, you have got tax deductibles, which is your expenses, and a lot of those in e-commerce is what you're doing. Your Shopify plan, your ad spend, the apps that you've got, those are all tax write-offs. So if you're not tracking them, then you are going to be overpaying on your tax bill. Now, I also want to mention some softwares and applications that I'd recommend that you have on a daily basis. Now, the first one is going to be TaxJar. Now, TaxJar is an application that you can integrate with Shopify and loads of other companies. And what it will do is it will track all your tax reports so that it integrates so you got accuracy. It will give you real lifetime data on the expected sales tax that is due. So basically, it will work out all the information so that it gives you rough estimates and daily information about what tax you're liable to pay based on the information that your store has provided. Now, the thing that I like about TaxJar is you can try it for 30 days for completely free to see if it is any benefit for you. But again, it's all about tracking everything in applications to help you figure out what you're liable to pay. Now, if you're interested in understanding how TaxJar works and the different taxes that it can calculate, if you come to the website and go under product, you can see all of the different product solutions that they offer for e-commerce. Now, the next app that I'd recommend is called Beprofit. Now, Beprofit is an app that integrates with Shopify again, and it tells you everything about your business. Live P&L reports, real-time performance. It will break down absolutely everything when it comes to your costs, your goods, everything. So instead of you using that Google sheet that I showed you, this is just basically a better version of that, and I'd actually recommend this over the Google Sheet just because it's going to integrate, it's going to save you loads more time, and it just makes more sense. And you can export the information very easily. Now, technically, if you are using Doula or Osome, they will manage that for you if you're on one of those paid plans that offer that solution where they'll track everything for you. If that is the case, you won't need TaxJar and you won't need Beprofit because they've got their own software that'll do it for you. This is just a solution for those that are looking to do it all themselves. Now, some other really good alternative apps that you can use to help you with your taxes and your bookkeeping is QuickBooks or Xero. Now, again, my most preferred one is TaxJar. But again, these apps are only necessary if you're looking to manage everything yourself when it comes to bookkeeping. If not, the other companies I mentioned will handle that for you. So let's talk a little bit about how to manage your money correctly. Now, if you guys are creating companies, most of you guys will be having company structures. This is your main business account. Now, the total profit generated will be in this company account. Now, let's say, for example, you give your money from your company, that's profit, to your personal account. You've paid yourself technically a salary. Now, there are other things that you can do, like paying yourself dividends and having tax-free payouts like that, but that will depend on what country you're in and how you're doing it. And again, you need to speak to a local accountant, because if that process is there, you might want to go down that route. But let's say, just hypothetically, you're paying yourself a salary which is based on profits. You will be liable for tax because you're paying yourself a salary. So that income is now liable for tax. But one thing that I do want to make very clearly, guys, is don't just think that the money that goes into your business account when you get paid from Shopify or your payment gateways is all profit. The biggest mistake that I see beginners make is they don't keep any money aside for tax. Now, some bank accounts let you create tax jars so you can input your tax information, like what percentage you're looking to pay. It will then automatically put away aside some money for the taxes or VAT or GST. I know banks like Monzo, Revolut offer that, where you can set aside tax automatically, but you need to make sure that what profit is generated, guys, you keep that as profit, but don't think that all the money in your account is profit. Some of that will be obviously tax liable, so you need to keep money aside. Now, with these YouTube videos, it's really hard to give you guys precise information and value because it will really depend on how you're running your dropshipping store or your e-commerce business. But that's why I'm saying to you guys, as long as you've got a good accountant and you know what to be aware of and the different taxes that are involved, you will be fine. The only time that you should worry is when you're not educated on what taxes are involved in the industry, when you're liable to pay them, and how to pay them. Just remember, guys, be careful who you take your advice off, especially if it's accountancy. If they're not a legal chartered accountant or they're not a financial legal advisor, then you shouldn't really be taking their advice so seriously. I see too many people taking people's advice in the comment section about taxes too seriously, and you've got to ask yourself, are they qualified to speak on this subject? And e-commerce and dropshipping stores. So this is all the value that I've been able to share with you over the last years of me doing it. But with that being said, guys, I hope this video has helped you, and I'll catch you in the next one.